Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Back Porch Lounge. We are the Leaf Cutters, and we are not professionals, but we are here to help. And today in the Back Porch Lounge, we have Greg Free from Fortaleza y Libre Cigars. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I may not have.
Did you have help?
I don't know.
You did it.
Did you prepare for that?
You got a thumbs up. It must have been good.
Actually, what it is I just put it in Chat GPT. I was like, repeat it to me, properly for the next 10 minutes. And then
I wonder if Chat GPT says Bovito or Bovida.
Oh, that's a good question. We're going to have to ask.
Ask the beard of knowledge.
Greg has been nice enough to give us basically a spread of cigars to smoke here on the show. So thank you very much, Greg. I'll go, I guess we can go around and introduce what we're smoking, and you can kind of tell us a little bit about it, if you're okay with that.
Sounds good.
Right. Today, I'm smoking the Sun Country of Fortaleza.
Awesome. Yeah, so the Sun Country is our number one seller. It's a Connecticut, but it's not your granddaddy's Connecticut. There's a full-bodied, full-strength core at the heart of it. Double Dominican Ligero, also a leaf of Mexican San Andres Maduro blended into the Dominican filler, a Dominican binder, and an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. So you're going to taste that the grassiness that's common with a Connecticut wrapper for about the first minute, and then the core is just going to overwhelm it. So it's full strength and nicotine, but it smokes like a medium with all the flavor of a full. So it's like you're going to get all this great complex flavor in the background, but it's not going to be punching you in the face.
Nice.
I'm going to punch you in the face later.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm. It'll keep you up at night.
How about you, Andy?
The Segundo Viento, wherever my camera is. There it is. Hey, that one.
All right. So Segundo Vientos, or Second Wind, was our second anniversary cigar. It wasn't destined to be a box press. We didn't set out to make a box press, but once the blend is created in a Parejo, we then test different vitolas to see where the blend speaks the loudest. And this one just really loved being in a box press. So it's double Ligero in the core as well. And Dominican Pelado Cubano Ligero, depending on how you're fermenting and aging, it's not going to be typically as strong as Nicaraguan Ligero. So even though it's double Ligero, that one's not going to beat you about like your ex-wife. It's going to be a nice medium smoke until you get to the band, and then it's going to be a medium full after that. So double Ligero, Dominican filler, Dominican binder, Ecuadorian Habano wrapper.
All right.
Nice. How about you, Billy?
I have the Intimidador.
That's what I'm smoking. So this was our latest release, and this was a work that took about 6 years to get to where we are today, because the core tobacco was planted in the DR on the farm where all of our Pelado Cubano is grown, and it was the Criollo 98 hybrid. So first generation Cuban seed planted just over 5 years ago. It'll be 6 years in November. So it's got some great core age on that Criollo 98 hybrid. It's got a leaf of that Ligero. It's got a leaf of Nicaraguan Esteli Ligero. It's got the rest of the fillers, the Cuban seed, the binders Dominican, the wrappers Mexican San Andres. On my palate, it's a medium full cigar, but with a lot of that Cuban-esque flavor.
All right. How about you, Grim?
Actually, I have a question first. Who passed out the cigars at PCA?
Greg did. Wait. You mean Greg gave us the cigars? But
I didn't pass them to each individual person. I'm not taking credit for that.
I think we divided them up. We divided them up in the room, buddy.
We did. I had them all.
Who gave me this one?
That'd be great.
You guys gave me the one named a Bushwhacker and acted like I'm not going to make fun of the name at any given opportunity and be like, oh, you set me up.
You sound like the mayor of D.C.
Yeah, I am smoking the Bushwhacker.
Can do the cultural reference. That was good. So the Bushwhacker was our second release. It was released about a year after the first cigar. It's got no Ligero in the core. It's just Dominican filler and binder. And there's a secondary red band on that. Does it say Habano or San Andres? Okay, so you've got the Habano. The great thing about the Habano in that, because it does come in a San Andres as well, is that the core tobacco on that cigar is aged 50% longer than the Bodacious, which preceded it. So it's a smoother, richer profile. And with the Habano wrapper, you really get to experience that. The San Andres wrapper would kind of overwhelm it, so it wouldn't matter. But in this case, it's just a great expression of Dominican tobacco in the core. Nice medium cigar.
First impression so far is awesome.
And Zach, how about you, buddy?
I've got the Midnight Bender.
All right. Some people call that the Midnight Bendover. You can call it whatever you want. But it's, I'm not sure why he gave you that one. But it was our third release. It was the first cigar that I blended myself for my palate. It's got double Dominican Ligero in the core, Dominican filler and binder, and a Mexican San Andres wrapper. On my palate, it's a medium full. It's slightly less strong than the Intimidador, but more Dominican flavor than Cuban.
Yeah, so far so good. It doesn't taste like it's overly powerful, but familiar in some ways. I'm already enjoying it.
All right. Yeah, no burn on the retro either. It's going to have a nice, smooth retro. And even the Intimidador with a leaf of Nicaraguan Ligero, it's not going to burn you on the retro. Maybe the first retro will be a little bit surprising, but it's just a nice, smooth retro. A lot more flavor.
Same here.
I was going to say
The Sun Country
that, yeah.
has a really
Retro
good
is
retro.
Well, I'll comment for a second. This is the first time that I've had a group of people all smoking a different one of my cigars. And I think that's great because it gives me an opportunity instead of just rattling off, hey, we've got this one and this one and this one and this one. It's nice that you guys are actually smoking them and you have an opportunity to kind of share your experience.
Yeah. Thought it was a great idea when you came up with it at the show. Bravo, sir.
Cheers to me. It was probably really Ed that did it, but
Well, he's not here to take credit.
I'm going to give you
Yeah,
credit.
he's not here
anyway.
to take credit.
he's
That's it.
just like he normally is. He's in the background. So he's just Ed and he's usually behind me at the show. Now he's behind me right here.
He watches this episode in a couple months or whatever, and he's like, "Those sons of bitches! That was my idea."
All right. So doing a little research on you, before we get to first light up on this, I wanted to ask this question real quick. When we were doing the research on you, the big headlines with your brand is about your brand. The whole Fortaleza y Libre controversy. He had to change it to Fortaleza y Libre. Was it really because it was too close to Fuente?
That's what his lawyers proclaimed, and they've been really strong. The attorneys team, keep in mind that they're not employed directly by the brand. They don't make money unless they oppose things, and so they opposed. And I don't think that Carlito knew about it until the first offer was presented by me, and then he was aware. But they've been opposing the word fuerte on a lot of brands, so you'll see the word fuerte in use. But I can guarantee you that there's been some sort of settlement arrangement. I mean, I was told by his attorneys that for each one that I presented to them, hey, they're using this word, they're using this word. Think of the alma fuerte. So there's just, and it's a very common word in cigar culture, just, meaning strong. Fuerte, you see it a lot of places. So they've been really diligent about forcing that word kind of either out of use or under very strict provisions about how they can use it. So I fought it for 8 months and spent tens of thousands of dollars, and I really thought I could win, but I couldn't afford to win. His attorneys were really good. I mean, kudos to him for hiring a great set of attorneys because they knew what they were doing. It was a very expensive lesson in trademark law. And then, great news. I got to use that experience when the University of Texas opposed my bull the second time I presented my logo mark. So the first time when it was Fuerte over the bull, they didn't say anything about it. But the second time when I had to represent with Fortaleza over the bull, they then opposed the bull. So I knew, let's just settle this as quickly as possible. So the bull behind me is the new bull. It's got nostrils, it's got eyes, it's got the ears filled in, but the rest of the bull remains exactly the same. I think that I actually kind of like this bull, honestly, with the features, but I wanted a very simplistic label. And the great news is that I didn't have to change the circle or the colors or the horns or everything else stayed exactly the same. So from a consumer perspective, they can barely pronounce the name of the brand, and they certainly aren't going to notice that the bull suddenly woke up and has eyes.
Well, it's definitely, I see the old logo on here. So it's definitely a difference. I think I like having the filled in eyes with red and everything like that. I think I'm with you on that. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling myself so I can sleep at night.
Yeah. As you should.
Fair.
But I've gotten a lot of compliments on the new bull, and I'm happy to move forward and get past this piece of the business. I mean, it's been 5 years now fighting 2 different organizations to just be able to do something as a small business, in America that has, nothing to do with university or, college teams it's a cigar. It's completely outside the realm. So I think that they were actually harder on me than Carlito was, honestly, and they've continued to be hard on me. So it's very, it's interesting what angle they've chosen.
That's nuts, man. Sorry you're going through that.
If it weren't for the passion for cigars, I wouldn't be doing it this long anyway. So the trademarks were just a piece of it, the FDA thing, and we finally got that ruling moving in the right direction. Individual states having individual distribution laws, and do I pay the taxes? Do the store pays the taxes? And having to deal with all that. And then finally moving distribution off my lap to Illusione, which has been a great relief to me, not having to deal with all those distribution agreements. So there's so much in the background. This is the fun part. Like, let's just sit down and have a cigar. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy each other's conversation. But people don't realize that in the background, especially if you're a new small business, all of the regulations that you have to deal with, all of the state to state issues, if you don't have the willingness to do that and also a shit ton of cash, you're probably not going to be successful.
That's what we've heard about the cigar business. Yeah, several people have said that.
Do you want to make a cigar? Throw a pile of money in them.
Yeah, I used to have a shit ton of cash. I no longer have that because this is a very expensive business.
That is no longer a problem.
Let's give first thoughts on our cigars. The Sun Country is very smooth. It's like you said, it's not your average Connecticut. It definitely has a little kick to it. But it's definitely a medium cigar. I mean, it's a little light to medium, but it's right there in that range. Or mild to medium, I should say. But it's got a really good flavor to it. I can't pull out any notes on it, but I'm not the notes guy. I can tell you if I could taste the grass or anything. But yeah, it's an enjoyable cigar so far. And I'm maybe smoking a little bit too fast, but so far, like I said, it's enjoyable. How about you, Andy? I know, bring out the spare.
Well, it lit up really well. Then I put it down for a second to sip on something and to join the conversation and had to relight it. So there's that. Not the cigar's fault. Totally not. But yeah, it's like great aged tobacco at this point.
Fair enough. Oh, by the way, I'm pairing with a Tortuga mango rum, and it's fantastic with this. Absolutely fantastic.
I've got Bullet.
That works too. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It was on top of the fridge.
It was what you had.
It was easily accessible.
It was that and the Japanese whiskey, and I was going with this because the Japanese whiskey has its purpose.
My wife hadn't hidden it yet.
No. Gotta be the moonshine.
How about you, Billy?
Really good first light up for me. You definitely see the medium to full body, but flavor profile wise, it is very smooth. Like you were saying, the retrohale is not too harsh on the nose, but you still get that kind of those peppery notes, but not too heavy with that. But yeah, so far, good start.
How about you, Graham?
I'm gonna bushwhack it until my fingerprints burn off and a doctor tells me to stop.
Yes.
Got a thumbs up on that one, buddy. How about you, Zach?
So far, so good. So I haven't ashed yet. It looks very strong. Like, I think I can tap it off, but it might not fall on its own. I'm getting a little bit of like warm cedar with some caramel sweetness that like leans it. This is sounds super pretentious. It kind of reminds me of zucchini bread.
Pretentious?
Super pretentious a little. Yeah. And a little, it just, some like sweet baked goods kind of going on, but a little bit of pepper on the back end, and the retro is smooth and kind of like an accent of the flavors that I get on the palate. Really, really enjoyable. Probably about a medium strength for me right now, but the flavor's way above that.
Well, I'm smoking an Intimidador. And like the bad friend down there, I think it's a nice medium full for me. The retro's been nice and smooth. It's got good burnability. This is one of my cigars that I pair with kind of a higher proof bourbon or whiskey or even scotch it'll stand up to. And you look at, you've got a rum with a mango rum, no less, with the Sun Country. I think that the Sun Country doesn't stand up to bourbon that's above, 86 proof, but it loves rum, and it also loves coffee.
Yeah, I can see that too. I can see that going really
this
well
would
with
rock
coffee.
with some coffee too.
Man, now I want
It's kind of weird. I had the rum for a second, and then I retroed this, and I almost got a taste of popcorn, and that was really weird. But it was nice. It was pleasant.
There you go.
It was like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Did you
see
not
what we're
learn
talking
from
about.
the Burger King French fries?
No, I guess I didn't learn. I don't care to learn.
Use the words you can, it's just the limited, words that he's got.
Vocabulary?
Use those. That.
I need to
Yeah.
I need to come up with something that
I need to
like
drink
wipes
more.
him out as far as it goes for that joke. Like I'm gonna have a cigar with somebody one day and be like, this tastes like cotton candy. It's amazing.
Please, God, don't
Yeah.
say that on a podcast.
Too late.
I just
happened.
did.
That goes on a whole another line of interesting things that happened in the cigar industry in the last 30.
All right,
Gotta make
so
my mark
Greg,
somehow,
going from a government contractor to a cigar manufacturer,
Hey, there's
How
hope for us.
fun was that?
Wow, it would have been more fun if COVID didn't hit right after I started the company.
Yeah, probably.
But I worked at a company in government contracting where I was able to stay a year longer than I intended. So I kept working full time because I couldn't get in shops. The shops were closed. If someone was placing an order online, they didn't know my brand because I was brand new. So they weren't going to ask for me for their pickup order. So I just kind of paused it for a year and then kicked it back up. And that was May of 2019. So if you get rid of that 1 year, we're really about 6 years in. And I grew up on a farm. I hated people that wore suits. And then I was going to college and needed health insurance and yada, yada, yada. I wind up a recruiter at a government contractor and had to wear a suit every day. And I was that guy for 25 years. And I was going to college for horticulture because I knew I was going to be a farmer. But, you never know where life's going to take you. So it eventually took me back to farming, so I went from government contracting, did that for 25 years. I left as a senior VP over human resources and recruiting and program management. And I was also the facility security officer. So I wore a lot of hats, and now I'm wearing a lot of hats because I'm pretty much a one-man show. But back to farming, walking the fields of the Dominican Republic and, really respecting and appreciating the value of good farming. And also the fact that we get all of our tobacco from one 60-hectare farm gives us great core tobacco with the same farming style, the same soil, the same microclimate. So we're very lucky to have that relationship with the farm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And also going from a government, which is mostly because several of us are government contractors on here, going for something that's very hush-hush and secretive to an industry that is willing to share knowledge at the drop of a hat. Like you ask them a question, they're willing to tell you where it came from, how, especially in leaves, how it was grown, where it was grown, all this information all at one time. It's just extremes.
It is unbelievable. Government contractors are never going to share their profit margins. They're never going to share their salary rates. They're never going to share their wrap rates, how much profit they're going to make on each position. But you come into this industry, and I started with Omar DeFrias of Fratello because he's a local Virginia company, and I could ask him any question down to dollars and cents, and he would answer every question I had. Also, Eric Espinosa was a great mentor for me. Sam Lechia, who used to have Lechia Tobacco and also created the nub for Oliva. He was another guy I could talk to anytime I wanted. Ernesto Perez Carrillo. I accidentally got an hour of counseling from him by stealing his room at Cigar Fest in the Poconos one year, which is a great story. But anybody you ask anything of, my problem was I didn't know the questions to ask. So I still contend that I know about maybe 60% of what I need to know to be a brand owner. But if I have a question, I can call any of those people. And to this day, they would give me the answer I need.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's one thing that we've found out doing this is how friendly people are and how open people are about their business, and have no problems telling you how it works or telling you where how things happen to help better understand for us as well, because we all come from consumer. We are consumers. We don't have any skin in the game when it comes to cigars. We don't have a brand. We don't have a shop. None of that. We are literally just lovers of cigars. So for them to open up to us and let us know some of the insight is so freaking awesome to us. Just like you coming on and telling us about your product and how, you do things and how pretty cool you are. Just meeting you for the few minutes we did at PCA and being on here, you have a good sense of humor. That's something that we would have never known just knowing your cigar. So we appreciate the opportunity. And I'll shut the hell up for a minute.
I will add, though, it is nice to be able to put a face and a personality to a brand. It's nice. There you go.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You caught me without my regular black polo, which is all I ever wear, with the logo on it, because I was running to get to this laptop. But I think that I say you can be a winner in this business if you're just not a dick. If you come out with a new brand and you think you're better than everybody, you're not going to last very long because people see right through that, and you just have to just be a decent person, and share your passion. And if that's your goal from the very beginning, and it's not to be a millionaire and it's not to be the number one cigar, my whole point of starting the brand was just to create a legacy for my kids. And as long as I can keep it going long enough that happens, that's my goal.
That's a great goal.
That's a
It's a
great goal.
That's a really great goal. All right. So from your branding, you would think you were like out in the Midwest, but you're actually based out of Virginia. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're based out of Northern Virginia, so 23 miles due west of Washington, D.C., kind of the armpit of America, in my opinion. We never run out of your money here, so there's never really been a recession.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is nice. The housing market never falters. Everyone's got a new car. The average government employee is making $130,000 a year. On the outside, they wouldn't be making that much, and their benefits are incredible. So I sit in a neighborhood that's just full of government contractors that, all driving nicer cars than me, and having a grand old time on the taxpayer's dollar.
All right. So let's talk about your lines a little bit. We discussed briefly at PCA that your lines are named after famous bulls. Do you have a passion for the rodeo?
So I grew up on a horse farm. My dad was a horse trader for 30 years. He bought and sold rodeo and trail horses. We'd go to auction every Friday and we'd pick up 15 to 20 horses, and I'd ride them all in the next 6 days, whichever ones we thought we could sell for more. We'd keep, and we'd put them on a separate market and sell them. We'd take the rest back to auction, pick up another 15 to 20. In addition to that, I worked on the dairy farm across the street, so milking cows every morning at 3 a.m. and every afternoon at 3 p.m., plus high school, plus middle school, and then also taking care of our horses. So I lived a very busy life, but I was also in the Future Farmers of America. I was the Quad State Dairy Cow Judging Champion for 4 years in a row, so I do know what a hot cow looks like. I also know that my bull is not a longhorn bull, and specifically it wasn't a longhorn bull, but I still got in trouble. And so, yeah, I rode in the local rodeo when I was a kid. I started as most kids do, mutton busting, hang on to a sheep as long as you can, and worked my way up to barrel racing, and then calf roping, and then team roping, and then ultimately started riding broncos when I was in high school. Rode broncos for probably little over 2 years, and then I saw all the hottest girls wanted the bull riders, and in rodeo terms, that's a buckle bunny, because they're going after the buckles. And so I thought, well, bulls are slower and bigger, and I was a big kid, worked on a dairy farm. I was 6'3" and just built. I don't know what happened, but I signed myself up to ride bulls. I rode 8 bulls. I rode 2 of them to 8 seconds. Very proud of that, especially since I'd never really ridden bulls. But every single one of them, whether I stayed on and got off of my own with my own reasons, like in my own time, or they threw me off, all 8 of them turned around and tried to immediately kill me. Oof. And after the 8th one, I decided those girls weren't that much hotter than the Bronco girl. So I think thanks to that decision, never broke a bone, but had a great time riding the rodeo. So yeah, rodeo is a part of my life.
That totally was going to be a follow-up question for me. It was like, how many bones did you break doing broncos or bulls?
Yeah, very, very lucky. I think I drank like 2 gallons of milk a day. And I think that probably paid off because the milk was free. I worked on a dairy farm. It wasn't homogenized or pasteurized. It was,
Straight
up to your belly.
Grab a ladle in the bucket, right?
Exactly, or squirt it right in your mouth, or you get a squirt from a friend who's milking next to you. It was a lot of fun. Great life.
You're holding out, Daisy. I can taste it.
There's more there.
That's awesome.
I would tell stories of my life as a kid, and until they saw my dad's photo albums, people would not believe me. I mean, he had a business called Marriage and a Carriage, so we had a Surrey with fringe on top with the patent leather fenders, just like from Oklahoma, and I had to work out buggy horses, so Friday night lights, I would take my buggy horse and the Surrey with the fringe on top to the football games, tie it up right at the end zone fence, and just watch the game while sitting in the Surrey with every girl that would fit in there because they all wanted to pet the horse.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just the horse.
That's the way to do it right there.
I try. It was fun. I mean, we went and got our Christmas trees in a horse and buggy. We went to Amish country because they worked on our buggies all the time. I got to raise a barn with the Amish in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Just a lot of cool stuff that I don't think, people think I could have done at my age, but just very fortunate.
That's really cool.
That is really cool. All right. So outside of your own brand, what do you enjoy smoking?
That's legal. I like
It's questionable. It's a gray line.
I do smoke an occasional Cuban. That's what I meant. So I like La Roma de Cuba. I smoked Perdomo Habano Maduro Gordos for 3 years. Before I had a brand, that was interesting. And then they changed the blend on that. They started barrel aging the wrappers, moved away. I love Padron Aniversario, specifically the 64.
Me too.
And I like trying anything that's new out there, like something that's just either a new cigar from an old brand or a new brand altogether, just seeing what's out there. It's like a chef. I don't think you can improve your game if you're not eating dinner somewhere else.
No, that's a fair point. And I'm glad you're doing that, because you're absolutely right. If you're not sampling what's out there, what's coming out that might have a different flavor or different taste to it, then you're not keeping up.
Yeah, and it's that, and it's also every time we go to the DR, which is at least twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year, we visit another factory on every trip to see how they're operating. You can't assume that your factory is doing it the best way. And the factory I use never had a U.S. brand before me, and it's been around since the 70s. So it's kind of nice to go other places and see unique things. I think the most inspiring was probably Eladio Diaz after Davidoff and him broke it off, along with Henke Kellner. Eladio started his own factory, and the way he set up the floor was very unique, and it was unlike any other factory I'd ever been in. But he's been doing it for decades, and he took all of this knowledge and experience that he gained prior to starting his own factory to really set it up in a way that was more efficient. The way the rollers operate, it saves about 5 seconds per cigar, which doesn't sound like much. But when you're rolling 500 cigars a day, that time adds up.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Are other people kind of taking that process, and have you seen other people take that process and start to use it, or talk about it? Or?
I haven't been in any other factories that are doing a specific one thing, and I'll tell you what it is. With the thousands of people that are going to listen to this episode, maybe one of them is a factory owner and they'll change the way they're doing things. But there's a cigar press. So that you do your bunching, you put the binder on it, and then it goes into a tray where the cigars kind of get married to their form, whatever the vitola is. And that goes into a press, which is just a big piece of wood on top and the floor on the bottom and a big wheel that you screw down, and it tightens that pile out. And it sits behind the wrapper and the buncher. So what happens is the buncher will put his most recent bunch on the top and then crank it down. And then when the wrapper or the roller needs another rack of these pressed cigars, he pulls them out of the bottom. So it's this constant process. So they're looking behind them, they're unscrewing it, they're putting it down, and then the other one's doing the same thing. So that's where the 5 seconds comes in. So Eladio put that press between the tables at table height, and instead of having it stacked this way, they're stacked next to each other.
That makes immediate sense.
With the wheel, so you're not pulling out from under the weight of all the cigars above it. The wheel is actually right between the two rollers. So you're literally with your hand just unwinding the wheel and pulling one out of whichever side you're supposed to pull from, and the other guy on the bunching side unwinding the wheel and pushing it into the front side. So this saves them so much time, and I haven't seen it in one other factory, but it's just one of those things that's just after centuries, people are still coming up with new ways to get things done.
It's interesting.
That's cool. That's innovation.
Yeah.
Innovation.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Process
Innovation that
improvement.
it doesn't take away from the premium hand rolled aspect at all. That has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Right. Just the things that aren't that you have to wait on anyway. That's more efficient in and out. That's cool. I worked in manufacturing for a little bit. I'm not doing that anymore, but the times I got to go to like a factory that built like car parts or whatever, I was always just fascinated with how that runs. And with cigars being so handmade, touched by so many people, it's really interesting. Like, I feel like it's easy to pass up an opportunity to make the process better because everybody's touching it anyway. But that's really interesting. I like it. Innovation.
Yeah, and it's glad to hear that something that's been done forever, and they continue to do it that way because it's been done forever, does have the opportunity to change. Because just because it's been done forever doesn't mean it's always the best way.
It's the worst reason for doing something in the history of reasons is because we've always
Right, you're right.
That's how we've always done it.
Exactly. That's how we always done it. All right, so where are we at in our cigars, guys? We about halfway there.
Yeah,
Probably
just
a little
like
over half.
I'm actually going slower on this. I'm surprised, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Let's go ahead and do a halfway review on it. So this one has picked up a little bit. It's gone from the mild to medium to full on medium. It's definitely a medium cigar for me. It's constructed well. It's burning a little bit funky on this side. I don't know why it's on that side, but it's very well constructed. It's not coming apart on me. Has a great flavor to it. I'm enjoying it. Paired with that rum, it's fantastic. I recommend it. But again, I'm not pulling any notes out of it because I'm not a notes guy. Besides the popcorn, thing I said earlier, which I know I'm going to live that down later on. But
Yep, they'll be mean about that
it's
later.
really pleasant. It's a pleasant cigar, and I'm enjoying it. How about you, Andy?
Like I said, I had to slow down because I think mine was probably the Robusto, and I think everybody else got a little bit longer cigar. So in order to try to keep pace, I put mine down for a few minutes and enjoyed conversation. But other than that, I go with medium. The retro on this is really smooth. Like I just totally retro. I think the majority of my draw, it was like this is spot on. If I can think of another cigar that I've done that with and almost died. So it's not this one, but it still has good flavor and it's a good medium strength.
Yeah, I agree. Even this one, great retro.
And I can't complain about the way this burns because it's a windy ass day in Louisiana and it's also hot as fuck. So I got the fan going. So no
I think you
complaints on
just
the
solved
burn.
my problem. My fan's going right here, and that may be why it's burning weird on this side.
That may be a good question is where are each of you? I don't want to interrupt the review part, but maybe after this, you can tell me where you each are.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll
How about you,
circle back
Billy?
to that.
So for me, it's been really consistent. Mine is I just ashed this. It's almost perfectly even. Apart from that, just really good mouthfeel. The pepperiness is about the same. There's some good earth tones to it that I'm picking up on, and somewhere in the background there is some kind of almost like a fruit rind flavor. I don't want to say like maybe apricot or something. I can't exactly pick up on it, but it's there, and I'm really digging it.
How about you, Graham?
Unlike Andy, who put it down, I've been bushwhacking it so hard that I am getting pretty close to the end, and I am not going to stop. As I said, a doctor's going to need to get involved, so somebody should probably at least reach out and get them ready.
I'll text your wife.
She's not here.
Well,
I have friends in the area. I'll help you out.
There you go.
It's an emergency. He keeps saying he's going to bushwhack it to death. I don't know what it means.
Something
How
about
about you,
blindness.
You'll go blind.
Yeah. It's been going really good. I haven't noticed any like flavors that are different or transitions that I've picked up on. There might be some, I just haven't gotten them. But like a little uptick in like flavor, not necessarily intensity. And it's pleasant. It definitely has like kind of a dessert bread kind of thing going on. Zucchini bread is what comes out as the thing that comes to mind. It may not be that. Someone else might have better words. But very enjoyable. Retro is very smooth and continues on those kind of sweet flavors of delicious baked goods.
Very nice.
Zach, it sounds like you just need somebody to come make you some like zucchini bread.
Zucchini bread.
I didn't want any before this, but now I want some zucchini bread. Pumpkin
but to
bread
answer
would
your
also
question-
work.
Yeah, pumpkin bread would be good. To answer your question, Greg, myself, Graham, and Billy are all in Georgia. Max in Tennessee. Andy's in Louisiana.
All right. Where in Louisiana and where in Tennessee?
Bossier City, just east of Shreveport.
And I'm about 20 minutes north of Knoxville, East Tennessee.
I was just in Knoxville last week. That's why I was asking.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think on Wednesday.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, apparently there's new ownership at Blue Smoke too. And I met them at the show. So when I was going from Nashville to Johnson City to hang out, I stopped in there. So same old shop, but new owners. Interesting to go. And they're very boutique-centric humidor. It's a huge humidor, but a lot of boutiques.
Yeah. They do have a really good balance in there. It does seem to be. I've only been in there. I used to go right after they opened, and it was not that way. The last time I went in was probably 3 or 4 months ago, maybe. And yeah, they've got new owners, and there's lots of lots of things I was interested in.
That
Are
sounds
you,
like a
are
place
you in
we should
that
we should go
shop
by
or are you
there
talking
sometime.
to them?
Yeah, I'm not in that shop, but I think I may get in there. It was a very
Cool.
positive conversation at the show, and he wasn't in there when I went there. His wife was in there, and she said that he had smoked the cigars, but she hadn't gotten feedback yet. So hopefully we'll get some feedback, and based on you all, and maybe you could all call him and ask if he's carrying them yet.
Tennessee
I'll
is
do it.
my
I live there.
second. Is kind of my secondary market.
Okay.
His wife has family that lives very close to me.
My in-laws are about 10 minutes from Zach's place, and then again, my mom is all of 10 minutes from Gibbs' place. So
That's true.
that's how I have ties across all the places and things.
So since you brought it up, Greg, what do you look for being a boutique brand? What are you looking for when you're partnering with a shop?
That's a great
Money.
question. I haven't had that question asked in probably 4 or 5 years, and it's really critical. I visit a lot of shops. We were just on a 1,200-mile, 20-shop road trip, and there are some shops that I never call back. Those shops are the ones where the person running the front counter is not a tobacconist, doesn't understand tobaccos, doesn't understand cigars. Some shops have a guy or a gal that doesn't even smoke cigars. So it's just, I'm not going to be in a shop. I'm not going to do well in those shops. I'm also not going to do well in a shop that the humidor is a mess, or it's too big. I've been in shops that have humidors that are literally 1,200, 1,500 square feet of humidor. And I just get lost in there. So I look for owners and operators that are connected to the industry, have a passion for cigars. I'm looking for at least 20 to 25% boutiques in the humidor, because if there's no boutiques in there, it tells you it's kind of a legacy shop. They built a culture around legacies, which is fine. And those are probably the top criteria. I want to feel comfortable in there. If I don't feel comfortable, then I'm probably not going to call them back. I'll leave them a sampler, and that's the last they're going to hear from me.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because
So-
you have to have that. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
No,
Uh,
go ahead, Gibbs. Go ahead and finish your thought. Mine's completely off topic.
Okay, I was about to say you have to have that symbiotic relationship with the shops. If they're gonna like your product enough to bring it in, they also probably need to know about the product to be able to explain it to somebody to get them to try it. But you're right. If they're just a cashier jockey sitting there just trying to collect the money, and they know nothing about the product, you're not even going to mention yours. They're just going to say, well, yeah, there's people come in here all the time and buy the Perdomo, or they buy the Fuente, or they buy the, whatever. They're going to know nothing about your brand and, be able to push it out there and say, hey, why don't you try this if you like this,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's great. Great you go in there and actually do your homework and, make sure that a person knows what they're doing. All right, I'll get off
So-
my high horse. Go ahead, Andy.
It's not that high of a horse.
It's a pony.
Like a little miniature
Yeah, but
pony.
that's a conversation we've had a lot about, between boutique and legacy and placement, and I'm just not going to go down that rabbit hole.
That got us in trouble last time. We're still talking.
I
to
didn't get
lawyers.
us in trouble. It was,
no lawyers yet.
no lawyers yet. It sparked an interesting conversation. I'll leave it at that. But since we met you at PCA, Greg, was this your first PCA, and how was your experience?
So it was another great question. It was my third year at the PCA. They use a point system to determine where your booth is. And you earn points for all the money you spend with PCA, the number of years you've been there. Like if you don't go there one year, you try to come back the next year, you lose your points from that year. It's a very complicated system, which really caters to brands that have been around for a long time.
Mhm.
But my booth location was the best booth location I've had yet, because it's my third year, and hopefully next year it'll be even better. So they call you when it's your turn, and you look at what's left and you pick a booth. In terms of last year compared to this year, I was busier this year than I've ever been. Didn't stop talking to people the first day till 4. I was finally able to get a bite to eat. And the next day it was till 3, finally able to get a bite to eat. So super busy, but sales in new shops were down from the previous year. And I think one of the big issues for me, there was one shop that I saw 15 people from. And it was a one shop owner. So it wasn't like they owned a chain of shops, they owned one shop. And officially they get 2 badges, and then they can buy as many badges as they want for $150 a badge. And I never, out of those 15 people, I never had the owner or a buyer come to my booth. And that takes up time, so I'm talking to 15 people in groups of 2 or 3. And I don't just hand out cigars, and that's what, they're customers. They claim they have an influence, or they claim they have a this or what, but you've got to dig into it until you find out they're really not a decision maker. And you still give them a couple cigars to walk away with, but you're wasting your time. So I'm a small business. The shop owner owns a small business, and yet they're bringing all of these customers in so that their best customers can get free cigars from the vendors, but it's preventing a small business like mine from really taking advantage of the show. So my suggestion to PCA is each shop can get 2 buyer passes, and it'll say buyer on the bottom of it. And every other person that gets a pass, it says retailer on the bottom. So then you know who the buyers are, and you don't waste your time with these customers who are friendly as hell, love smoking cigars. I want to share the joy of my brand with them, but I don't want to spend 15 minutes talking to them about my brand, because that story is never going to get to the owner.
Right. Fair.
No, I like that idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now I
They
feel
have
bad
the-
for talking to you at PCA.
No, that's fine.
I'm joking.
I'm still pissed about that.
No, I get it.
As you should be, because
Leaf
Gibbs,
Cutters
oh my
wasted
God,
all my
what a jerk.
time.
Yeah, leaf cutter.
We did have good view.
Wasted my time at the show. Gave me the wrong time for this event. Anyway,
Just a bunch of assholes.
I resemble that remark.
Absolutely.
so
It was
we're-
good placement
we're-
because right next to you had the guy doing sodas,
Yeah, I remember that.
which are great, by the way. Did
which
you
are
try them?
delicious.
Yeah, they're really
I
good.
We
did.
tried them all. They were very good.
Well, Gibbs was
Yeah,
talking
really.
to you. So I tried their stuff, and then I went and got Zach. I said, Zach, you got to try this stuff.
Yeah.
But Gibbs finished talking. Try this stuff.
It's great. I mean, a lot of my friends who smoke cigars, they don't drink alcohol. And what a great concept for kind of a lower sugar, high flavor soda that's meant to pair with cigars. It's phenomenal. I brought 4 bottles back for a friend of mine, old Ramos in Minneapolis, Michigan. And I think he's been sober for decades. And, he really enjoyed them. You got to get the message out on something like that because it's very unique.
Yeah.
And until you try it, you just wouldn't know.
Yeah, and we wouldn't even known about them except for PCA. So that's what was great about that. All right. So since we're talking about drinks, what's your favorite pairing? I know you kind of went over that one. What's your favorite pairing with your cigars?
So we test all of our new blends with coffee and with Eagle Rare.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, I can
Eagle
see
Rare is
that.
my favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite bourbon. It's hard to get. It's getting easier to get. They put a lot of money into that distillery in the last 5 years. I think $1.4 billion to increase
Yeah.
production. So it's becoming more available. So is Blanton's and all of their other products. Not trying to advertise for Buffalo Trace, but it's good stuff and it's a lower proof. It's really smooth. It's 10-year-old. And it allows the cigar to speak more than, like an Isla Scotch would or a higher proof bourbon or whiskey would.
Absolutely. That is kind of a sweet spot bourbon for going with a cigar. A good choice, I think. But it's
Yeah,
very
it's-
hard to get and very expensive in Tennessee.
We managed to find it. It's fun. We found some in Kentucky on the way through. Obviously, it seems like every time I stop by Buffalo Trace, it's not the allocation of the day, but we always pick up. I think last time they had 2 allocations. They had the Blanton's and also Colonel Taylor small batch. And then
Which
you
is
can't
funny
get a new
because that
bottle
was a big
either
thing at
one of
PCA.
those for 3 months. It's like a whole thing. But yeah, Eagle Rare, they've changed it from an allocated product in Virginia to now it's if they get it in, they put it on the shelf. So clearly distribution is increasing. There's going to be greater availability. And it's just my go-to.
Yeah. I am a little sad that it used to cost like $35. And now it's quite a bit more than that.
I tell you, when I started drinking it in Virginia, it would go on sale for $26.95. And the shelf was full. Like you could get, same with Blanton's. I think Blanton's back then was $40 a bottle. I mean, it kind of shows my age a little bit, but it was $40 a bottle and you could buy it all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's 70, I guess, for Blanton's. And I think the Eagle Rare in Virginia is $46.95.
Oh, see, it's 70 here for Eagle Rare. The last place I saw it.
Yeah. So in Virginia, the state controls the warehousing and the distribution and also all the stores. So they set the price consistent with what the distillery would charge.
That's good. Well, I mean, it has advantages and disadvantages, I'm sure. There's a lot of liquor stores in my area that try to play up to the secondary market, and so they're like, well, people are going to buy it and sell it, might as well get a cut of that. And I'm like, oh, I'm just not buying that, I guess. There's a store near me that sells a 750 liter or milliliter Buffalo Trace, like just a Buffalo Trace, for like $60.
It's $24.95.
Yeah, it's $24.95. I used to get it when I lived in Louisiana. I used to get it on sale at the grocery store for like $20.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Kroger and
Like I
Walmart,
said, it's-
best place to buy whiskey.
It's a secondary market. It's just it's going crazy. It's happening here in Georgia too, and you can't even find like something like Weller's here. It's
pretty
just
rare
hard to
if they
find.
do.
You can't find it. Yeah, and if you are, you're paying up for it. It's ridiculous.
There's one place that I know that still sells the green label one for $50, but then I asked them about, like, I think it was a yellow label one, and they're like, it's 24, and I was like, dollars, and he's like, 100, and I was like, I don't even want to touch it, man. Like, I feel like I'd be committing some
I
sort
don't even
of
know where
crime.
that's.
Like,
I don't even want to know where that's at on the shelf.
Yeah.
predominantly behind the
counter in a
register,
case.
man, like staring you in the face. Like
Inside
if
of
you
a
drink
vault,
this, you'll see the
can't
face
even
of God.
see it. All right, so a very serious question. At PCA, were you using Bearded Monkey as your barker? Because that dude straight up was like, hey, you got to come meet this guy.
Yeah.
And he brought us right to you. It reminded me of those guys in the Bahamas when you get off the cruise ship and they take you to the restaurant they want you to see or the gift shop they want you to go to, and they get a cut of it. Don't get me wrong. I love Bearded Monkey, but that was brilliant if you were able to get him to do that for you.
Yeah. So did you get a scratch off ticket?
No.
No scratch
I
off
got cheated. I got cheated. Son of a. I'm gonna have to reach out to him on Instagram.
Yeah. So I honestly think that. So last year, his bark was, you want to see the worst booth location at the show, go visit Fortaleza y Libre. He's facing the food court, and he's the only guy facing the food court. And it got me so much traffic. And then also facing the food court, it turned out to be a great thing because people were seeing my booth crowded. They'd never heard of my brand, and they would get up from lunch and come over and go, hey, I've never heard of you, but you're busy. Tell me about your brand. And we picked up a couple new shops that way.
That's
But
cool.
This year I did scratch off tickets that had the booth number on them. You could scratch them off, and there was a prize under whatever you scratched off. And you didn't get one, but I gave you
We
cigars.
weren't important enough.
So
You got
calm
cigars.
down.
we got a
That's what it
cigar.
gives.
I'm happy
It's
with the way it
media
turned
badge.
out.
Yeah, so he has been doing Instagram stuff for me for, I guess, 3 years now, and very passionate about the cigar industry. Really cool guy from Northern Ohio, and just has a passion for the industry. He represents a lot of brands. It's not just me, but mostly boutique brands. His photography is excellent, and just really happy that he made an impression on you because clearly he's helping a lot of brands while he's there and pointing people in different directions. So I think he's beneficial to the industry. I hope that he figures out a way to make a significant living doing what he's doing. It's tough. Especially if you're not a female influencer. It's tough to get the market share that probably his photography deserves.
Yeah, he has really good shots of cigars and things on his post.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following him for a while. We've been following each other for a while. So that's I knew who he was as soon as I walked up to him, and I talked to him because I knew he was Bearded Monkey, and that's why I introduced myself because I saw him last year. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but this year I did, and I stopped him. And then of course he immediately was like, "Hey, you got to go see Fortaleza," and I'm like, "Okay, let's go do it."
Go see Greg, and it
Yeah.
worked out. I mean,
It worked out.
he directed a lot of people with the scratch offs that I had that had the booth number on them, and it's just trying to be creative when your booth location isn't on the main aisle or you're not right next to Fuente or Rocky or any of the other big guys. So I was in a place that you really had to search for. You weren't just going to stumble upon me unless you were heading for food and maybe look to the left. So it was nice to have someone who was driving people in my direction.
You're doing a good job.
That's cool.
I'll tell you that.
What's Yeah, but I just stumbled upon him at TPE, and I didn't have a booth at TPE that year. And I saw him there, and he used to rep for that side of the industry, the vaping side of the industry.
Yeah.
Moved away from that, had to start a whole new brand. He's trademarked. He's legit. Like, he's doing it the right way. He sells T-shirts that all go to a different charity. He's just a really solid kid.
Cool.
I say kid, but when you're 60, everyone's a kid. Except for maybe Sigandy over there. Maybe he's older. I don't know.
God damn it.
He is older than the rest of us. Oh, no.
He's
I
older
guess
than the rest of
Billy's-
us, but he's not that much older than the rest of us.
Jesus.
I think he's like a couple months older than I am.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a couple of months older than Billy. But Robert actually has him. Robert,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah, I was gonna
couldn't
say,
make
Robert's
it. He
got
wanted
me
to make
beat.
it. Robert's
Yeah.
got you
All
beat.
right.
Robert,
Am I still the adult? Am I the adult in the room, or is Robert
Yes.
the big
You're
daddy?
still the adult.
Okay.
You're still
Not
there.
by
you're
much.
You're
Robert
60.
unfortunately couldn't make it today.
Yeah, if you're
No,
60, Robert's
I think he's 58.
mid-50s.
He's
He's
58?
I think he's 58.
Holy crap.
He's also mostly Asian. He's not going to look 50. He's not going to look,
yeah.
his age until he's like
Yeah.
106.
His mom, I think, just turned 92, and she just now got gray hair.
But
Yeah,
didn't it
it's
happen like all at
interesting.
once? Like on her
Yeah,
birthday?
it happened overnight. Literally overnight, just white. It was nuts.
Yeah, my girlfriend is half Chinese, and she says that Asians are 40 until they're 100, and then they're 150. Just all of a sudden, just boom. And I said, well,
Just overnight, just
yeah, I'm glad I'll be dead
Crazy.
before that happens.
My wife is half Thai and zero gray hair. And the other day we were like, oh, I think we found a gray hair. It was one of the dog's hair that was stuck in her hair. We have a light colored dog, and we're like, no, that's not yours. It's fake.
Greg, let me ask you: Do you do your own blending yourself, or do you have your blenders you work with, or anything for your line?
So that's a great story. So I started with a factory that's been around since the late 70s, I think 1978. It's called El Juito, and they had never had a U.S. brand, as I said before. And the Dominican market is inherently very mild. So they blended the first two lines, the Bodacious and the Bushwhacker, and they came in two different wrappers each. And I kind of told them what I was looking for, and then we tested for the Bodacious 12 different blends. They were just laid them on me like, here you go. So we sat in a group with 12 guys, kind of my blending committee, and we picked one based on vote, not based on what I liked. And then that was in a Habano. Then I wanted something with a little bit more body to it, so I added an Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper to that. Bushwhacker, we've already talked about that blend, but the first one I created myself was the Midnight Bender. And so we had been testing tobacco off the pelons and out of the boxes and bales all morning. And we go to lunch at a great restaurant in Santiago, and I've got the master blender who's the owner of the factory, his son who makes my boxes, and then the floor supervisor. And I'm describing this blend that I want to create with double Dominican Ligero and the Dominican filler, Dominican binder, Mexican San Andres wrapper. And they had a sidebar in Spanish. And I was married at the time to a Panamanian woman. And so I knew all the bad words in Spanish because she had called me all of them. And so they had this sidebar in Spanish where they said, he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to be out of business in 6 months. This cigar is too strong. No one will smoke it. So I said, I hear what you're saying. I said, but let's go back and roll some of these and see what you think. We rolled some of them, and they were like, they were choking on them a little bit. They were strong for them. They just weren't used to this experience. And even though it's really a medium full cigar. So I said, I really like this blend. We tweaked it a little bit. I said, I'd like, 250 of them to take back, and I'll smoke them over time to see if it's something I want to move forward with. And I called them with an order. We released it initially in just a Toro. And even then they were like, are you sure? I'm like, yep. That became my number one seller. And then the Sun Country, same conversation, except they added, it's blasphemous to have a full body core and a mild wrapper. Blasphemous in the Dominican culture. So I said, I hear you. Let's go back and roll some. We rolled some. I wanted 250 to take home with me. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yep. When I placed the order, they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yep. And that continues to this day to be my number one seller. Now, since then, I show up at the factory and like the master blender is learning with both of these blends. Like, here's what the Americans want, or here's what Greg wants. And I haven't had to blend a cigar since. I don't care who owns it. Honestly, I don't think it's all that important. And the master blenders are still adding, even if I blended it, tons of value in the background, because each year the tobacco is just slightly different and you're trying to keep that blend consistent. So at this point, I really don't care who's blending, as long as they're giving me, what I'm looking for. And now they know what I'm looking for, and they learned and they move forward. We went to the factory in February. I told them what I was looking for. They gave me 5 blends to test at the factory. One of them gave me the shake so bad I had to stop smoking for 30 minutes, and that's the one I picked. It was like,
yes, this one.
I either have Parkinson's or there's a lot of nicotine in the smoke. So thank God it wasn't Parkinson's. And that cigar is going to be, the blend, we settled on it. It's actually, it's a medium full, but it's stronger than the Midnight Bender. It's stronger than the Intimidador. So it's real close to full, but it's a Habano wrap. Like, the core of the cigar is just, it's a bomb. And it's, the bands are done. Well, no, the band artwork is done, waiting on the band factory to create the bands. The blends are already resting. So hopefully within 2 to 3 months, that cigar will be released. That'll be our 8th line.
Very nice.
That's awesome.
The Midnight Bender is not too strong. I mostly smoke Nicaraguan, and this is like on the medium side, maybe medium plus a little bit, but it's not too strong. It's great.
Yeah, and it's funny. People hear double Ligero and they're like, "Whoa, I don't want that." But there are 2 leaves of Ligero in there. It's lifting up the nicotine. That's lifting up the flavor, but it's not like Nicaraguan Ligero. It's just not going to get there.
Yeah,
That's strong.
well, one of my favorite or original favorite Dominican cigars is the LFD Double Ligero Maduro, the dark one. And, like, I never thought that was a particularly strong cigar, but apparently it is. Like, it just tastes great to me.
Yeah, and everyone's palate's different. I say it's medium full to me.
Yeah.
But to some people, like the Intimidador would be a full to somebody, or it might just be a medium to somebody. It kind of depends on what you're used to smoking. Is it a step down for what you're used to smoking? Well, then it's not a full. Or if it's a step up, well, maybe it is a full.
There you go. All right.
Greg,
so I'm
talking
getting
about,
to this. Sorry, Andy.
No, you're talking about where this where the Segundo would change right about the band. Found it.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a little bit of physics, I guess, but the way the box press operates, and you probably all know this, but I'm just going to share it for anyone that may be watching this that doesn't know this. But the way it operates is most of your airflow is going through the corner. So, you're creating a parejo, a round cigar, and you're putting it in a box that presses it into a square. And when and you use less tobacco because you couldn't press it if it was full. And there's less tobacco in the corners, just inherently. So your airflow is going to go through the corner. So when you're smoking that cigar, all the tobacco at the foot is burning. But as it's coming back to the cap, it's coming back through the corners, which is keeping the core tobacco in that final third cooler. So it's capturing more tar and nicotine as that smoke's going by. So that's why when you get to that final third, now you're smoking all the tar and nicotine that it filtered out. And that's why you go from a medium to a medium full. That's my theory. I don't hold that it's 100% true, but just try that.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, try
logically,
that.
it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah. So if there's a brand that's got a box press and a parejo in the same blend, check that theory out, because I've checked it out and it checks out.
I'm going to pay attention to that next time, but I've definitely experienced the same blend and a box press and a parejo, and it being totally different, tasting totally different.
Yeah, and that's why, like I said, the blend spoke the loudest in the box press. We weren't intending to come out with a box press. It's not a very big part of the market. A lot of people don't like it, but it's technically a very good blend, and that's where it spoke the loudest.
Nice.
Well, I'm getting to the sad part of my cigar, so I'm going to have to put it down here soon and review it. So
You're doing good.
How's everybody else doing? Yeah, everybody else is nubbing it. Grim's completely out. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and start reviewing. The Sun Country is fantastic. Beginning to end, consistent cigar. It changed in intensity on me. Like I said, it got to just a really good medium, around medium mild that I'd started off with. Taste of it was great. It's done what I want my cigars to do, and it's relaxed me. I feel good smoking it. I want to have another one right now after lighting this one up. So out of 5 leaves, it's going to get a 5 from me because it's that fantastic. I enjoy it. I have no complaints whatsoever. And like I said, I want to go get another one right now and smoke it. So it's a good cigar. It's definitely worth your time.
Awesome.
And actually, in our new rating system, it'd be called Leaf Cutter Approved.
Trademark pending.
Trademark pending. That's it. So how about you, Andy?
Well, like I just said, I found where the transition was, which definitely picked up. You're right. It hit that medium plus feel in the draw and in the flavors. The other 2/3 of the cigar were a good medium, somewhere between an easy medium and a solid medium. Draw's been really good. I really didn't have any burn issues with it. Box press. I like box presses. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. I like box presses.
I like box presses too.
Conversation's been good, so we're going to throw that in there too, because that always has something to do with the way we rate these, and we've talked about that.
Counts. It counts.
It's an experiential bias.
It's an experience. Yeah, what he said. I'm not doing big words today. It's not on my list of things. I've used all my big words yesterday. Yeah, I've used big words yesterday and earlier today, and I'm done. But on the 1 to 5, I'm going to give it 4 3/4 because I've enjoyed it. It's good. It's got good flavor. And I think the last third that, I'm getting ready to burn my lips on in about another 10 minutes is going to follow through with that. Whatever the hell that is on the new rating shit. I don't know.
We call it a lip burner.
That's
a good one.
That's accurate. When it's so good, you just can't put it down.
That's it. How about you, Billy?
So for the Intimidador, I'm agreeing with both of you guys. It's been a fantastic smoke. Consistent the whole way down, no burning issues whatsoever. Even though I do have a fan right above me, so it's impressive in that regard. The mouthfeel, the airflow, all top notch, at least for my preferences. But flavor wise, the medium full is about where I like my profile. So. It hit the sweet spot for me for sure. It did ramp up a little bit more in intensity in this little last third, which is, usually to be expected, but still not overly strong to the point where you feel like your palate's burning. But yeah, I'm going to give this a 4.9 and a leaf cutter approved.
Leaf cutter approved. Very nice. How about you, Grim?
I finished it in enough time that while we were talking, I was able to actually WebMD because nobody called a doctor. I've been bushwhacking it for so long. What should I do? And it said, it's too late for medical attention. Make peace with your God. So, man, that was it floored me, man. It was a really good cigar. The flavor was on point. The smoke intensity was great. It burned so oddly evenly that I was actually kind of concerned because what did I do it differently this time? And I've been jipping other cigars, that. So, man, it's a. I don't usually get 5s, but that's a 5, man. That was a wildly good cigar. I want more.
Yeah, that's another leaf cutter approved. Jesus. We're doing great.
Zach,
How about you,
bring the ratings down?
Let's knock down the ego just a little bit. Come on.
Fix it.
I wish I could temper the curve, but I've got more bad news. So as far as individual flavors I can pick out, nothing particularly changed, but it just kind of ramped up and kind of melded together in a really pleasant way. Still maybe medium plus as far as strength goes for me, but it's perfect for today. I don't have much else to say other than it's a 5 for me. This is outstanding. This is leaf cutter approved. This is definitely something I'm going to pick up another one.
So, and maybe at Blue Smoke 2 in the next month or so. So, Did you say earlier it tasted like a brown sugar Pop-Tart? What was it?
Zucchini bread. I got a little bit of kind of caramel sweetness and warm cedar is what I wrote down.
I was going to say it tasted like a Twizzler just to make fun of Ben, and I totally fucked. God.
But it's like a desserty bread that you would maybe have after dinner. Not like a full tiramisu or anything like that, but I'm digging it.
All right. Yeah, I think, the common term would be baking spices, 'cause it kind of incorporates all of those pieces of it. I also get a little bit of, I call it forest floor, and mainly from the San Andres. I think about the fall and walking through the woods when the leaves have already fallen and they're wet, like that aroma, because aroma is so much of flavor. And then the other thing for flavor is if you haven't tasted it or smelled it, you'll never pull that out of a cigar. So I'm a fan of roasted hazelnuts. I don't know why. It's a weird kind of thing. But when people talk about nuttiness, like I almost always pull out roasted hazelnut. And I find that Dominican tobacco brings that flavor out for me. And so in our cigars, like the Bushwhacker and the Bodacious, that roasted hazelnut is kind of resting in the background for me. But it's all about aromatic and taste bud memory. And that's what you bring to the surface.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, apparently you eat a lot of baked breads.
Not as often as you'd think based on the cigar, but but I'm enjoying it, so I'm okay with that. I could see there's like a warm nuttiness to it that you could maybe use that, but that's not the way I sense it. Like it's one of those flavor adjacent kind of things. But yeah,
awesome.
I like it.
I want you guys to try the new cigar when it comes out, the Law Dog, and maybe we'll do a show where you all get the same cigar and I get to try that one out.
Yeah,
We're
well,
all
that-
about it, man. I mean, especially
gotta
after
ask.
that experience.
Is there a Parejo of the Segundo?
There is not.
Okay.
There is not. And it's funny. I think when Billy was saying the Intimidador so difficultly, and then Segundo Viento, which is in Spanish, those were both happy accidents. So, I'm dealing in the Dominican Republic, and I send the band factory, the band of Bushwhacker, and I'm like, I want this band, but I want to change the colors in this way. And the name of the cigar is Second Wind. And then it comes back and it's Segundo Viento. And then my boxes have the band artwork on the lid. So I send the artwork, Segundo Viento, to the box factory, and they produce all the boxes with Second Wind on them. So they translated it back. And then the same thing with Intimidador, only this time they did leave it Intimidador on the box, but it's Intimidator is the name of the bull, but they changed it to Spanish. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll leave it that way. So those are both happy accidents, and people can't pronounce them all the time, but it's cool.
That's
I
pretty
want that
awesome.
one that says it's got a Spanish title to it because I can't pronounce them words.
We
They
can't
taste
pronounce
good,
them
though.
words. Yeah.
I wouldn't even go that far. I'd just be like, hey, the blue one. The white label. I want the white label.
Yeah.
And that's honestly important. That's part of our branding, is that if we ever have an issue where we've got to change a name of a cigar, it's the color that people go for. And like even with the bull with eyes, it's not going to change people's perception. They're going to go and look for the bull. It all looks the same. We tried to keep our branding set up in a way that if there were ever issues, it wouldn't be too dramatic. I mean, no one could pronounce Fuerte and no one can pronounce Fortaleza. So it doesn't matter that we changed on the top of the bull because they remember the bull.
Smart choices.
I had to pronounce these words. I had to pronounce most of these words for Gibbs, so don't feel bad.
Yeah. When I said chat GBT, I mean, I called Andy, but
My subscription fee's less, Grim. Just so you know.
it is. It's just a phone call. That's it.
You
So-
swindle a lot of cigars. I don't know if it's cheap.
That's true too. Greg, go ahead and tell us about what's going on with Fortaleza in the next couple of months. Maybe like 3 months out. What's in the store for you?
Well, summer's our big season. We just did a huge event at Fat Ash Cigar Lounge in Ashland, Kentucky called My Old Kentucky Hearth. We've been doing that event since the very beginning. They brought us on. It's crazy. I try not to sell cigars on a first visit shop. And I said to Dwight, I'm not here to sell cigars. And he said, well, wouldn't you like an order? And he picked me up just based on our conversation. And so we've been doing that event for years and just had a great turnout. This was a week ago Saturday, and they also do a Friday night dinner at that event. It's about 250 cigar smokers, about 20 vendors. Just had a great show there. Our next probably biggest event is the Cigar Crawl in Pittsburgh. That's been going on for almost 30 years now. And it's a bunch of guys and gals that get on a bus, and instead of visiting bars, they go from cigar lounge to cigar lounge. We visit 5 or 6, depending on how close they are together. And you smoke cigars. All the shops give great deals. And I've sponsored that bus. I think this will be my 4th year this year. So that's coming up. There's a great event in Florida in October near Pensacola called the TPA Cigar Festival. So Tobacco Pipe Association, which is a new association. And that's going to be about 20 vendors. There'll be VIP tickets. That event just draws people who want to buy cigars. So that'll be another big one for us. Haven't been to Pensacola. It's difficult to get there. It's almost like it's in the middle of nowhere trying to fly in there, but we're going to figure that part out. Not going to drive. That's too far. And then the summer is just filled with events. We picked up both Smokers Abbeys in the Nashville area, the one in Gallatin and the one in East Nashville.
Nice.
We're doing events there in August. They're a great boutique friendly shop, a great owner that, really appreciates the value of quality cigars and also relationships. So he's picked us up, and I think Bellhaven Cigars is going to pick us up, and I'm hopeful that Blue Smoke 2 also in Knoxville, Tennessee will pick us up. Visited a new shop in Johnson City called, my goodness, I can't think of the name of it. We were there, weren't expecting to do anything, and she's picking up the line. We're doing an event in late June, but I can't think of it's Stogie Mountain. I was thinking it had to do something with, thank God Ed's here in the background. Stogie Mountain Cigar. It's been open for not even a year yet, but a great shop, great lounge, great culture.
Do you have any vendors or stores in a 30-mile-ish radius of Noonan, Georgia, which is just south Atlanta?
We do not. We visited a bunch of shops in North Atlanta, and we'll be back there to do some more visits. It usually takes 3 visits to a shop to show them that you're serious and that you're going to show up. So I think we have a good potential at picking up some shops in North Atlanta. There's 500 shops in Atlanta. There's
a lot. There's a lot.
So we visited a bunch north of town. We did an event at, I think it's called Smoke. That's northwest of Atlanta, slightly. Did an event there. They didn't pick us up. We're in another shop there. That's north of Atlanta too, kind of a smaller shop that's picked us up. We did an event there, but we're not really deep in Atlanta, and it's a huge cigar culture, so we want to make that kind of a destination for us. But we also don't like picking up shops that are closer than 30 minutes to each other, because we want each shop to be its own destination for our brand, not compete. We don't want to compete with myself.
That makes sense.
Smart move. Yeah. All right, then. Well, I want to take this time to say thanks for coming on with us, Greg. We really appreciate your time. We definitely appreciate the smokes. They were fantastic. And just consider an open invitation. Anytime you want to come back, you're welcome on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, Gibbs, I gave you 40 cigars. Did you share them all with the team there, or you just...
Hell no.
You just gave me each one cigar.
What did you say?
I just got one.
I'm going to get off camera for a second and just get my keys, and I'm going to be at your house in about 15 minutes, and I'm going to see what's up.
Well, he's going to be enjoying some...
I wish that were the case, Greg. I wish that were the case. But we do appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us. And on that note, I want to say good night. What's up, man?
Bovita.
You mean Bovita?
No. Bovita.
Bovita.
Bovita. Prove me wrong, dude.
It's already been proven.
Oh, yeah, by who?
Carlos Fuente, man.
Okay, yeah, no, he knows his shit. It's Bovita.
This story was brought to you by Bovita, or Bovita. And don't worry, folks, we weren't pronouncing it correctly either.